MaXXXine, 2024, the third entry in Ty West's X trilogy, features a dark and violent narrative as Maxine Minx, Mia Goth, navigates the cutthroat world of 1980s Hollywood. The film follows Maxine's quest for stardom, which is derailed by a series of brutal murders linked to her estranged father, Ernest Miller, a fanatical televangelist. Miller and his cult create snuff films, targeting individuals from Maxine's circle, and justify their violence as a moral crusade against Hollywood's perceived decadence. The kill count escalates significantly when Maxine confronts her father. After enduring a harrowing setup where she is bound for a ritualistic exorcism, she fights back. The climax unfolds in a bloody shootout, with Maxine ultimately executing her father at the Hollywood sign. This scene symbolizes her rejection of her oppressive past and her destructive patriarchal upbringing. If you'd like more detailed breakdowns of each kill or analysis of its thematic significance, I'd recommend checking detailed reviews or fan analyses. Let me know if you need help with that. MaXXXine, 2024, builds upon its predecessors, X and Pearl, by significantly raising the stakes with a notably high body count and intense violence. The film not only explores Hollywood's darker side but also critiques religious hypocrisy, fame obsession, and systemic patriarchy through its grim narrative. Each death serves as a critical narrative device, reflecting the film's commentary on fame's dark allure and the corrupting influence of obsessive morality. Through Maxine's journey, the film critiques the exploitation inherent in both Hollywood and religious extremism, portraying the brutal lengths people will go to uphold power and ideology. For deeper thematic exploration or a scene-by-scene kill count, let me know, and I can pull additional details. Finding a comprehensive breakdown of MaXXXine's kill count has proven challenging due to restrictions on detailed fan resources. However, the film's high body count primarily stems from the cult led by Maxine's father, Ernest Miller. The murders, often graphic and symbolic, are central to the film's critique of moral extremism and fame's corruption. I can draft a speculative, creative analysis or outline more thematic connections if you like. Let me know how you'd like to proceed. In MaXXXine, 2024, the kill count is intricately tied to its intense, slasher narrative. The film sees Maxine, now striving for mainstream fame in 1985 Hollywood, caught in a gruesome spiral of murders surrounding her career. The killer, revealed as Maxine's estranged televangelist father, Ernest Miller, mirrors her complicated past. With his religious cult, he orchestrates a series of brutal killings as part of a fanatical anti-Hollywood documentary. Maxine fights back against the violence, climaxing in a bloody confrontation where she destroys her father and his cult. The film's body count includes her close friends, colleagues, and various members of the cult. Maxine's final act of rebellion, shooting her father at the iconic Hollywood sign, symbolizes her breaking free from patriarchal and religious control while solidifying her rise to stardom. MaXXXine, 2024, features a gripping, high-stakes narrative with a substantial body count, aligning with its predecessor's blend of slasher and psychological horror. Set in the neon-soaked world of 1985 Hollywood, the film follows Maxine Minx as she transitions from adult films to mainstream horror, only to find herself embroiled in a series of brutal murders orchestrated by her father, Ernest Miller, and his fanatical cult. The murders, including those of detectives, private investigators, and Maxine's colleagues, culminate in a violent showdown at the Hollywood sign. This thematic and literal bloodbath critiques the exploitative nature of fame and the hypocrisy of moral crusaders, while also drawing inspiration from giallo-style thrillers and 80s Hollywood excess. MaXXXine, 2024, features a complex, escalating kill count as Maxine navigates the dangerous Hollywood scene. The film's murders, tied to Maxine's father's cult, include her friends, industry figures, and cult members. The climax occurs in a bloody shootout atop the Hollywood sign, where Maxine ultimately kills her father, symbolizing her break from her dark past and rise as a star. The film critiques exploitation in fame and morality-driven violence while delivering intense slasher thrills. For a deeper scene-by-scene kill breakdown, I can offer further analysis or look up more sources. In 1985 Los Angeles, amidst the Night Stalker murders, Maxine Minx successfully auditions for the lead in a new horror film, The Puritan 2, despite all of her previous film credits being in adult films. After sharing the news with her friend Leon and colleague Amber James, the latter invites Maxine to a party in the Hollywood Hills, which she declines. Maxine goes to work at her second job, a live peep show, where a mysterious, leather-clad figure watches with anger. She meets another adult entertainer, Tabby Martin, who also invites her to the party that Amber mentioned, but Maxine declines again. As she walks home, she is followed by a figure dressed as Buster Keaton, who corners her in an alleyway, brandishing a switchblade. Maxine pulls a gun on him, makes him strip, puts the gun in his mouth and forces him to perform fellatio on it, before stomping on and crushing his testicles with her boot. The leather-clad figure leaves a police evidence VHS tape containing the adult film Maxine and her now-deceased friends had attempted to make 6 years prior. Upon watching it, she asks a confused Leon to find out where it came from. Meanwhile, in the Hollywood Hills, Amber and Tabby are killed and have their bodies branded with satanic symbols. Maxine is invited to meet with John Labatt, a private investigator who informs her that her previous crimes will be revealed unless she meets with his employer, telling her she must appear at a specific address on Starlight Drive later that night or risk repercussions. LAPD detectives Williams and Torres question Maxine about Tabby and Amber, but she refuses to answer them. She later sees Labatt following her and attacks him, warning him to stay away from her. Maxine confides in her agent, Teddy Knight, who agrees to help her. Ignoring Labatt's demands, Maxine begins learning the script for The Puritan 2. Meanwhile, Leon is slaughtered in his video store by the mysterious, leather-clad figure. On the set of The Puritan 2, Maxine meets the star of the first film, Molly Bennett, who mentions a similar party in the Hollywood Hills. Soon after, Labatt, angered by Maxine attacking him the previous day, chases her across the Universal Studios lot with a gun before being caught and escorted away by security. Maxine tricks Labatt into following her, during which she, Knight, and her friend Shepard Touré ambush Labatt, and subsequently trap him inside of his car to be crushed by a junkyard compressor. Maxine visits the address Labatt gave her, which leads her to a house in the Hollywood Hills. She finds Molly's dismembered body inside a suitcase and learns the murders have been committed by her estranged father, a televangelist named Ernest Miller, with the assistance of the fundamentalist members of his ministry. Miller reveals he and his followers have been filming the murders to create a snuff film intended to expose Hollywood for what he sees as its sinful and corrupting nature. Thinking he can still save his daughter, Miller has his followers tie Maxine to a tree for an impromptu exorcism, which he also films. Detectives Torres and Williams interrupt the ceremony and cause a shootout, killing Miller's cohorts, injuring Miller, and giving Maxine time to free herself before the detectives are fatally wounded while pursuing Miller. Armed with a shotgun, Maxine eventually confronts her father at the Hollywood sign but is interrupted by a police helicopter. Maxine envisions herself as a celebrity credited for helping stop her father, attending the premiere of The Puritan 2 and revealing in an interview that the film's director, Elizabeth Bender, will be directing a biographical film about her. Returning to reality, she shoots her father, telling him he gave her what she needed: divine intervention. A month later, Maxine continues her work on The Puritan 2, hoping her success will never end.